Can you speak a little bit about commitments and the hard work of activating these commitments and standing for something?
So to me is that commitment has close relation to educational concern. So this concern needs to be shared and discussed collectively, because educational concern is not about taking side. We have to create collective commitment based on collective value that we created in the situated work. So it's not about finding happy medium or compromise in between the two, but we really need to think about and discuss about what is our educational concern in this particular context. The concern, this concern is a transformation of what is desired into what is desirable. What do we really want for our children, for our society, for ourselves? So commitment should be based on this conversation through the dialogue that requires radical dialogue, and it is not easy to have this radical dialogue because sometimes then we have to disagree. And creating this space is my responsibility as a pedagogist, is actually creating the space for dialogue with who and what is the other. And for me is for our, including me and my educator at SFU, we try to create a space and approach education as a process of creation rather than discovery. That is our pedagogical commitment that we are working towards. And in order for have a space for creation, I want to echo what Christina talked about. Role of pedagogista as a pedagogista coexists with and lives in questions, and for the love of questions. I know questioning is hard, but we have to live with questions. A practice, I want to use the quote by Christina, a practice of putting into question that helps to keep open possibilities in intersubjective space, not only to reconceptualize children's and educators' ideas, but also to make education and curriculum into something more than the mere organization of materials, activity for children, or programmatic application of a particular pedagogical approach. And yes, that's the way to activate this commitment.
Could I just add, in sitting in question and the commitment, I've described my work sometimes as being the burr underneath the saddle, which is to say it creates this uneasy sense, but I'm also saddled with the same inheritances and the same questions. And so it's also, I would absolutely agree, Bosan, it's to be with always. And that commitment again as a contestable thing, to make it public. We had a moment where one of the engineers, when we were trying to stop the trees from being cut down, we had some very good conversations, and there was some reticence. We had invited them to the center to come and see and physically walk and look at these trees and talk about some of the children's ideas and our own ideas about how we could do things differently. And the reticence was that we were setting them up for a win. you know, to come and shame them or whatever in this day and age of kind of gotcha politics. And so we talked through, and there was, I would say that part of the commitment is also to create a trusting, open space for dialogue, where we're taking everyone seriously, whether we like it or not. We need to be able to discuss these ideas. And so they did come. It was a very generative moment, actually.